Alrighty, we in effect. Oh my goodness! Like today's a big day for a lot of people, including myself, because I get to talk to one of my personal inspirations, a cool guy, humble, who got a lot under his belt. He can be like so Hollywood, but he's not. He's professional. He's very strategized. I could talk like a book about this particular artist slash real estate realtor slash knowledge. He has so many type of accolades that I don't think a lot of people know. And today we're going to get down to the bottom of that. Here on the Hot Zone with me, International Most P, I welcome you all to the man of Chicago, Sycosis. What's up?
First of all, I might hire you just to say that shit anytime I gotta talk. Like that was that was dope. I don't know about the certain all of that, but I'll take it. I appreciate it. What's happening with you? And happy MLK Day, Martin Luther King Jr. We would be remiss if we didn't honor the legend, the man, and the sacrifice who was murdered, pushing our people forward. So
I like that. Thank you. I wasn't gonna forget, but you set the tone.
Yeah, no, it had to be said.
I like that. That actually goes along segue into the type of guy you are. Anyways, like you own your stuff, like you know your stuff, and we're gonna talk about that because a lot of people don't know Sycosis, and I want them to know. So first of all, Sycosis, where are you located at right now? Where you from?
I am in Chicago. It is pop. We just gonna end that right now. Not soda. It is pop. We'll get into that for the rest of y'all. Midwest people, y'all know why we doing it.
I just had a conversation about him, what they can't say, what they choose not to say. And I said soda because they say pop, but it's insider.
I'm in Chicago. I'm from the south side of Chicago. Well, I work not only musically, but as you mentioned, real estate. I work Cook County and Lake County, which is Chicagoland area plus Northwest Indiana. But more importantly, I'm trying to be worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Global. As an artist, I think it's time that we recognize it's a global market, it's a global economy, and that it's global music distribution, it's global music placements, and so there's global imprint that we all can make as producers, artists, publishers, brands. You know, so I always say when people ask me a question, I say I'm from the south side of everywhere.
South side.
I'm from where you from. That's what I normally tell people because it's a good chance I know somebody where you from. So I always tell people I'm from.
That's dope. That just means you get around. No,
absolutely.
Yeah. So we know that you're from Chicago. You don't say soda, you say pop. You are a real estate agent, a realtor, and a very, very down to earth, successful artist. We know that. But let's dig deep into like when did you first pick up that pen and that pad or whatever you did, freestyle, lunchroom table, whatever. Like tell us about that.
So the first question I get asked after people are like, oh, that's a dope stage name is what does it mean? I picked up the name Sycosis the same year I picked up the pen to write my lyrics. I had an older cousin, two older cousins who I really looked up to. They were telling me about KRS-One, EPMD, and some of the founders of hip hop. And my other cousin, he was really more so into the street side of Chicago underground music at the time, which was Triple Darkness and Snipers and Do or Die. And he wanted me to know, that side of the industry, which I got introduced to. Psychodrama, which had a big influence on me. It was actually the first rap song I knew was Magic by Psychodrama.
Wow.
But anyway, the real hip hop head, East Coast one, he was like, yo, what you need to do is take a dictionary and you go home and study the dictionary, and that's going to help you with your vocabulary, because at that time that was the goal, to like be most sophisticated, intelligent, intellectual MC. And my other cousin was like, no, you need to spin a block with me, I'm gonna show you the street shit. You know what I'm saying? So that happened when I was 12 years old, man. So I got the name Sycosis while reading the dictionary in 6th grade. And right now we have a saying for it. It's called unpopular opinion. Ooh. At 12 years old, I was the king of unpopular opinion when it came to music. And people would always tell me I was crazy because I would say shit like, yo, I think Lil Wayne's the best hot boy. And people was like, what? Are you crazy? You talking about drop it like it's hot, wobbly wobbly? And then fast forward, not everybody a day one Lil Wayne fan, you know. But I would say things like that, like very controversial, but I meant it. Like I was serious, and people would tell me I'm crazy so much that when I came to that definition of that word, which means a person that kind of lives in their own reality, and it's kind of hard to change from, you know, change their perspective of what they think is real and what's not. I just felt like it was talking to me. So that's how I changed the spelling and just was like, yo, that's me. You know, I'm that guy. That's
I like
how
that.
so.
I like that. But I'm happy you segued in there because that's actually all around the same. Wow. And it's just, it's interesting that the fact that you found your name the same time you picked up the pad and the pen. And it's even more interesting how you had the best of both worlds. Like one son you read the dictionary, the other one's like, let's hit the block. Like that's what make you from a whole nother caliber, you know, like it's a lot of people only have one of the other side. They didn't have the essence that you had, which makes you more well-rounded than a lot of our fellow artists that we both know, you know, and ones we don't know yet. So now we got that. We know all about how Sycosis came Sycosis, how he made his music and wrote it down. What was your first song you recorded in a studio? Basement studio, big studio, etc. Like, what was that like, and what was the song, and where can we find it, like, so we can see it, hear it?
You will never find this song, first of all. But it's a great story. I was in high school. I grew up in Harvey, which is a south suburb of Chicago. And Harvey is like its own microcosm, Harvey World. You know, people refer to it as Harvey World. So you hear everybody say that, it's both a place and a game that you're a part of, whether you want to be or not.
Wow.
Because if you know anything about that, it's like, oh, you from there, you around us. So that's why I went to high school. I also went to, like, Lupe Fiasco graduated from high school with us, and Selena Johnson, and a lot of other people came from Harvey World. But I was in a group with Mike Terra, who's still making music, P Plus, a couple other people from P Plus actually originally is from St. Louis. That's interesting. I just remember that. He was the very first person who said soda, but that's another story. But we were in a group, and the producer that we work with now goes by $1 Million Man. He became Kanye West's tour DJ. Oh, wow. And went on to make some big records for a lot of people, including The Weeknd. He helped produce The Hills, I believe.
Wow.
But anyway, at that time, we made a group called Unlike No Other, and I started, like, not really confident in myself. You know, I was kind of quiet, kind of shy, and I found that music not only made people want to hear what I had to say, but that the better I got at wordplay, the better I got at projecting, the more it carried over into other parts of my life. Like, I saw not only the benefit as a rapper, but I saw the benefit of just having a voice in general. And I think that to this day, that's still very much my focus of how to help people get a voice in general, whether it's music, whether it's at the Cook County Jail where I work, helping guys get a voice there, whether it's in real estate, trying to help people get a home for the first time. Like, helping people find a voice is very important to me, because it's what I had to do to get anything going forward for myself.
Wow. Wow. I'm speechless. Like, I was so drawn into the story. My next question ain't even there. Now let me stop playing. So, wow. Like, that's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
So we started. As we segue from the time your very first song that we never will find that you did.
Now you might there's something called, what is it called? Sound. It's not SoundCloud. It was before SoundCloud. I want to say SoundLink. I can't remember. But if
SoundLink, you had Bandcamp, all that was.
Yeah, I think it's SoundLink. If you Google that, my SoundLink, you find Sycosis, you'll find. I never deleted them. Those are my very first records.
Oh shoot! I'm going.
One day somebody gonna put me on blast.
I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, you find. You gonna find the first one, but you'll find me at like age 17, 18. You know what I'm saying? You'll find a very young me trying to, find my way in this music.
So you said something too that is very important to highlight. You said you used to be shy, and then the music kind of like boosted that. Like it made you it developed more confidence. If correct me if I'm wrong based on what you just said. How do you feel? Are there any other advantages that music has brought to your life? Let's ask that. That's basically what I was trying to get to.
Communication in general. I started in the era back when like battle rap, not the battle rap that we see now, but like when it was just becoming a thing where, you had 30 seconds to rap on a beat, you're going to get somebody else. You had to be freestyling for real, like off the top of your head for real. Because if they could tell you wrote it, you was disqualified. Not to discredit anybody that's in that world. Now it's just different. So having that kind of pressure of I have to think of something impressive right now over a beat that I'm not picking, that guy over there with a pen or a Carmex bottle or whatever he doing on the lunchroom table decide to do, I got to rap to that right now. And it's a bunch of people. The girl I like is standing over there. My homie's standing over there. It's everybody standing here. And if I mess up, I'm done. But if I say the right thing, I got everybody attention and I win. Not only do I win, but everybody's talking about that for the rest of the day and you're the champion. Something about that type of pressure just improved my confidence that I could do it, number one, but picking the right words to say, knowing when to say what, also reading people, reading the room, paying attention to the small details, because if I'm battling you and we dissing each other, I'm gonna pay attention to the smallest details so I can use it as a weapon and throw it against you. So one, everybody know I'm freestyling, and two, it's the least you weren't expecting that. You didn't think I noticed, you know what I'm saying, that hole in your left shoe and you're gonna fall over, or that F is really a P connected to your FUBU shirt. Like you, at the smallest detail, I got to use against you. And the ability to communicate got improved, but also my ability in writing, because writing in general, when I got to English class, that was the easiest class in the world to me. Like, I wish you would give me an essay. I don't care. I might have never read this book. I'm passing this exam because I'm going to throw in all the adjectives, all the figures of speech. I don't even know what the topic is. This essay is beautiful. The answer is wrong as shit, but my essay gonna be beautiful. It helped me tremendously with stuff like that. And then to fast forward, when you get into the business aspect of it, knowing contracts, because of course, again, I do music and real estate. Knowing contracts, it all derives from that, same skill of being able to write better, read better, and then understand what's being said. You know what I mean? So it's transferable in a lot of ways if you know how to, pull it out.
But the offside, the disadvantage. Let's be honest.
Of being a rapper, the disadvantage of being a rapper is people use the word rapper. Like, you are put in a box. You are no longer a person. You are no longer a human. You are a rapper. And as a rapper, there are certain negative connotations that go along with that negative stigma. But there's also certain expectations. So then when you don't meet what people expect rapper to mean, they're thrown off. Like, you don't appear to look like a rapper. You don't talk like a rapper. You don't dress like a rapper. Who the hell are you? They're confused. And I think for a lot of artists, they succumb to that because they've mastered the art of looking like a rapper and not the actual business of being one. Where I kind of rejected, like, look, I don't have a chain, B. I wish I could afford these shoes. I can't at the moment. So this is all you're going to get. That's the disadvantage. Like, you get put in the category of just like, I'm here to entertain you only. And you must also be fully street. You must also, associate yourself with things that might be his story. That ain't me, So I think it's a lot of pressure still for rappers to play the role, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Fit the description of what people think a hip hop artist. You will hear people use the word artist now more, which I think is good because it doesn't only put you in one genre or one frame of mind of what artists have to do. Because I always say rap is the 10th thing I do. Like, rap is the easiest of the things that you're gonna do as an artist. If you learn the skill of rhyming words, that's the easiest thing you're gonna ever do. Everything else is way harder than that. So that's the disadvantage.
Agreed. And I'm happy that you're taking my questions on the fly and you handling these things. Just like you already knew what I was going to say because you got your script in your head, but it ain't scripted. So thank you once again for, your great questions and this great conversation. It's not even an interview. It's more like just two old buds catching up for the first time on interview. That's all it really is. So here we are. We talked about the advantage, the disadvantages. And actually, like when you were talking about the artist versus rapper, I was thinking like, what's the rapper versus hip hop artist? Like, would you prefer and feel more comfortable with saying, hey, Sycosis is a hip hop artist, or would you rather say I'm a rapper? Like, what would you like?
When I introduce, I mean, that's like saying, would you rather be called Black or African American or Native or more? Like that's gonna all depend on who you are. And it's also going to be on who you're talking to, whether they even understand it or whether it's worth explaining. The separation of it, when I was younger, I really felt the need, like we need, like this ain't real hip hop. Like I was really one, and now as I get older, and especially since I understand that concept of ownership of these labels, we're not the ones who make them, we don't create them. These labels get put on us, and we're not the ones in control of it. So it doesn't really matter what genre you call it or what you say. Like if you catch me on Clubhouse, you'll hear me say I'm a hip hop artist, but that's only partially true because I'm a million different kinds of artists. I have songs that are influenced by R&B, by EDM, by blues, by jazz, by pop, but because we're minorities, it's all going to be categorized as urban music anyway. No matter what I do, they're going to call it urban music. So call me what you want, as long as you say it's dope.
Yeah, I love it.
Call me what you want. I call it whatever you want to call it.
You're amazing, by the way. Like,
thank you. I appreciate it.
This interview is dope. Damn, it's so dope. Damn, you got me on my feet. You got me in the seat, but on my feet. So
doors of the tent is open. Pass the collection plate around.
Oh God, what? See, he got me. You take the interview. It's all about you. You talk. No, I'm just playing. But okay, so we got that. We understand the intellectual side of you. That's one thing I like to do when I talk to people. It's like take away from the music side. Like let's really dig deep into who the artist is. I say artist. I'm not gonna call you hip hop, rap, nothing. I'm gonna say artist because you just literally said you don't just do hip hop, which you don't. So here we are. We fast forward to 2020. I know we just skipped a lot of years, but you have a lot of history to talk about. Well, more like
2021.
Where you left off to now, what you were telling me. Let's talk about some of those moments, those memories that you like to share with people that nobody ever known. And then we're going to get into talking about your single and sync licensing and any special stuff you want to talk about before we get out of here.
A story most people don't know. I've been on television twice. First time when I was 8 years old, I was on the Bozo show, Bucket Toss, and I got to bucket number 4. They cheated me out of bucket number 5. That's a difference. The second time was last year in March. I was on the news speaking out against the lack of preparation and the nonchalant attitude that the Cook County Sheriff's Department had towards protecting its staff and the detainees at the Cook County Jail against COVID-19. Once we realized that outbreak was happening, and all the experts were saying, yo, prisons and jails, just because they are designed with a bunch of people in a big space, no windows, no ventilation, it's gonna spread like wildfire. And they were doing nothing to stop that. So again, giving a voice to people who don't necessarily have one, I was like, look, I'm gonna put my job on the line. I'm gonna speak out against it because we gotta work here. Somebody gets sick, we go home, take it to our families. And these people here, like just because they're incarcerated doesn't mean they're not humans and that you shouldn't the same amount of safety everybody else has. So that's something a lot of people don't know about me. The other thing is I had a song with my brother Eldorado Jones called Nonstop. That was in a soundtrack of a major film over the summer of 2020. Film's called Becky, and no, not that Becky, but it's still interesting. Um, it's funny because of the pandemic, this movie, which was kind of supposed to be kind of like a direct to DVD type movie, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't supposed to be a blockbuster, but because of the pandemic and all these other films getting pushed back, the movie ends up going #1. So I had a soundtrack of the #1 movie. I was on the soundtrack of the #1 movie, and I was also in an Intel commercial. Sync licensing is things I do. So those are like some really big accomplishments I'm proud of. I don't know if I answered your question, but
Oh, hell yeah, you did. You also just segued into another question when you were talking about, my God, like I'm so in tune to what you're saying that is so many questions forming in my head at one time based on everything you say. So please forgive me if I can't get that one right away. But we talk about sync licensing. We talk about, the stories. But I wanted to talk about how did you end up, or what is it that you do at the Cook County Jail?
For the last 14 years, I've worked at the Cook County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
And the way I got into that is because I went to college and I graduated. I was still making mixtapes in my dorm room. I never gave up like music. I never felt like, okay, well now you got to grow up and stop, because that's what people think. Like you got to pick one or the other. So I was like, no, I'm gonna somehow do both, because I'm Gemini, so I can do both.
Oh Lord.
We are good and better.
You could have kept that out of here. You could have. No, just play. Go ahead, continue.
So I always really kept like thinking about music, but I graduated with a degree in psychology, which is unrelated to the fact I picked the name Sycosis, but gives it context because I understood, like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I figured whatever I was going to do, I was going to work with people. So I got a psychology major and a sociology minor, because I figured in a job interview, no matter what it is, I can tell them, look, I know about people, and they got to rock with it. So my aunt, who was a deputy, she was like, hey, you good with kids, and this sounds like something you might be interested in. They got this like prevention program, and maybe you can go work with them. So for the first like 10 years, I was going to schools around Cook County, which is, a huge school system, hundreds of schools, public and private, K through 12. And I'm teaching like violence prevention, like how not to get locked up was what I was doing. Because I grew up with my father in prison at 4 years old. So I was giving them my story, my truth, my situation, and then just trying to give them a, pull up on how not to end up in that same jam. But turns out that most institutions that are related to law enforcement do not prioritize people not going to jail, believe it or not. Isn't that crazy? That they decided that the budget for that should go to $0. So they got rid of all of the funding around making sure, like talking to kids and outreach and community work, and decided to put all of the money into the jail, believe it or not. So that's how I ended up in the Cook County Jail. I would have never volunteered to go there ever, but I got forced there in a bunch of different legal disputes with the sheriff's department, how I ended up in the jail. So when I got there, I had to get over my own PTSD about handcuffs, shackles, because like, again, I was visiting my father in prison as a kid, seeing that. So I had to get over that and then figure out how to work with max class, super max guys who may be there for may or may not be there for horrible crimes, things they may have done or not have done, and try to figure out how to convince them that they can still be productive, that they can still try to redeem themselves, that they can still add value to their relatives, their little brother, their sister, their son, their daughter, their cousin, because these people still care about you, even though society might not. These people still respect you when you call. They answer the phone. They send money to your books. They come up here and stand in this line and get searched and go through this embarrassing process to talk to you for 15 minutes through plexiglass. So you owe them something. So I ended up there, and turns out it ended up kind of like the movie Blow. You ever seen the movie Blow where Johnny Depp, he ends up in
Oh
prison for something
man,
illegal, right?
yes.
And then he convinces them to to let him teach this GED class. And he goes in the class, he's like, all right, half the time I'm gonna teach you about this George Washington character, and the other half I'm gonna teach you about, how to smuggle drugs or whatever. But instead of smuggling drugs, I'm teaching them about music industry. I'm teaching them about real estate. I'm teaching them about how to file LLCs. I'm teaching them about stocks. So in Division 9, which is Super Max, that got me a lot of notoriety to those guys because they knew that was extra. They knew they ain't paying you for this. They knew why I was really there. They knew my story of how I got there, and they respected. So they not only did they perform well there, they would get on the phone and like, hey, my teacher, hey, his name Eric, but hey, he go by Sycosis. Hey, pull him up real quick, play this song, and have their family playing my music through the phone, and then sharing it on the tier so they friends and other people on the tier can hear, and helping promote me to people that they know. Like that's mind blowing to me. That's crazy to me. Like you got 15 minutes on the phone call, and you might not be able to call the next week, and you taking 10 out of the 15 minutes to talk about me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's more major to me than any kind of follows or any industry, whatever. Like
That's deep.
That means that person had a real connection.
That's
like
connection.
Yeah, they had a real connection. So that's what I do there. And during the pandemic, like I still, send them material to kind of keep them sharp. We're gonna see what happens with the vaccine or whatnot when I'll be back in there. But what I do is I take information and I bring it back. Like when I go back in there, the first thing I say is, all right, so write down Clubhouse, y'all. Tell your people, like, this is what I learned in Clubhouse in the last 3 months. Like, this is what I learned about publishing. Like, that's what I do. Like, I take the information, give it back to them, teach them how to monetize it. Because the reason why 9 out of 10 guys are in jail, besides mental health and emotional issues due to poverty and oppression, is money.
Yeah.
Money has a lot to do with how people end up in prison. Why they made certain decisions to do anything. A lot of it, not all of it, a lot of it comes back down to it. And if they have a way for them or somebody they know to generate money, then their situation change, their choices change, their opinions change, their viewpoints change. So I teach these guys, which half of them rap or produce or know somebody who does, and like, yo, this is where you can make money from it. So now you're not thinking about the next lick. Now you're thinking about, man, he just put me up on a legal lick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow, you that's why I said all I said in the beginning of this interview, because like you're doing more. You're doing the representation of what music is the right way. Hip hop. Let's say hip hop, because hip hop has a better perception than rap.
No, it's definitely a culture. Hip hop is a genre, but it's a culture first.
So I know we kind of limited. And I don't want to interfere with what your busy schedule is. So thank you first of all for making time.
Look, I'm going to do a showing today as soon as we finish.
I know, that's why I'm like, so here we are. Tell people, like, how did you make that transition from, oh, you didn't really make a transition, you just merged it. But how was working at the chefs in Cook County and all that, the inspiration for your real estate license? Like, tell us that story.
The guys in the jail had questions about how to legitimize their own business endeavors. They wanted to learn about filing LLCs. They wanted to learn about how to start non-for-profits. They wanted to learn about all the legal flips they could, because these guys know, look, even if I beat this case, I don't have any work history. I've been in here for the last 8-9 years. And if I get found guilty, if I make it back home, not only do I not have work here, but I also got this X on my back. So even if I get a job, I will not make enough money to live on my own. I'm gonna still need my baby mama. I'm gonna need my mom. I'm gonna need somebody to help me. And I don't really want to do that because I'm a grown man and I'm kind of embarrassed to ask for the help. So is there anything you can tell me about that I can make money on my own legitimately? And real estate was like the number one topic outside of stocks that they talked about. And the more they kept asking about it, the more I started thinking about, like, maybe I should look into this. And I would go, I would go to real estate class when I finally decided to do it. I talked my mom into doing that. Hey, mom, we gonna do this together because you're gonna do it in this area, and I'm gonna do it in this area, and we can make a conglomerate. We could do some. So that was my plan. But anyway, I would go to class on a Monday night and then come back to work Tuesday morning, and we be in class for an hour and a half or whatever in the GED class, my Blow University. We be in class, and I spend the first 45 minutes talking about, here's your geometry assignment. And then the next 45 minutes, we're going to apply, which I was just learning the math and algebra. Okay, now here's a mock scenario on real estate. I need you to calculate the commission. I need you to calculate the sales tax. I need you to calculate how much money this person gonna have to pay per month on a 30-year fixed mortgage with an FHA loan or conventional loan. Like, I would teach them what I learned the night before.
Wow.
And
that's so cool.
They became my study group. So I passed the Illinois and Indiana Realtor exam the first time because I had the best study group in the world.
That's cool.
They were right there with me. We would quiz each other. And every guy in there right now could pass that exam. You know what I'm saying? Because they studied, they soaked it up. They wanted to learn it. And then even if they can't become realtors, they will be able to share it with their family. Hey, Ma, you finna buy a house. Hey, look out for this. You know what I'm saying? Or hey, ask the realtor this, ask the listing agent this, ask the lender this. They at least know. And even that gives them a sense of pride. You know what I'm saying? Because now they can make somebody proud of them. That's so important. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, wow, how did you learn about that? Oh, yeah, I've been taking this real estate class, you know what I'm saying? Trying to improve myself,
That's big. That's huge. And that's a disadvantage in our culture, in our community, is the lack of knowledge. So thank you so much for educating all it's like sluggish for some reason, but thank you for educating in every aspect that you do. So before we get out of here, like, we're supposed to be prime shining your new single, your new ladies record, the new and dope sweatshirt. That's yours, right? That's your brand.
This is actually for the single. Good for you.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I remember that. Did you have a teddy bear or something you walked in the door with or something like? Okay, you better watch out. Valentine's Day coming up. Valentine's Day is coming up. Watch out. But let's talk about that single, how it came about. And before we get out of here, like, let's really talk about that right quick.
No doubt. So my latest album is called Find Me When You Wake Up. And I released it November 6, 2020. And let me just say, creating an album during a pandemic while also watching protests, riots, police beating people up, and then to cap that off, we're watching the Capitol riots just happened most recently. Well, all of that, creating music last year was the most difficult it has ever been for me. Both logistically and emotionally, because you have a lot to say, but you don't want it to come off like corny. And at the same time, you're like, well, does this even matter considering what's going on in the world? And then you had studios closing, producers that I was working with couldn't get in contact with them, camera people, like, it was so difficult. So I actually recorded the first version of that album in my living room because I couldn't get in Suburban Pro Studio in St. Louis.
You could not?
Yeah, I couldn't get in there. I couldn't. So shout out to Shayar producers. Like, they came through, blessed me with some records, and that got me started. And me and my brother Burris, who's on the single Good For You with me, we were in my living room. We was like, yo, bro, I've used Pro Tools for 20 years. I ain't never been the one behind the board, though. You know what I'm saying? So we sitting in my living room trying to figure out, okay, that's how you do that. And Good For You was the very first song that I recorded for this project. And it was very different. And ironically, when we first got on, I was telling you how I was in a room with Timbaland on Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. The reason why I like that record so much, it reminded me of that Timbaland sound and era. Not probably the Timbaland most people think of. I'm talking about the Timbaland that produced for like Aaliyah and Genuine.
Yes.
Like
that 90s.
The Timbaland was much different. I don't think people give that enough credit. Like what he did on Genuine's first album was crazy. But anyway, it reminded me of that sound. And my brother Burris, he was like one of the people who introduced me to music through that sound. Because it was like, what is this? This ain't It ain't just rapping. It ain't just R&B. What are they making? So when I heard the beat, I knew he would like it because I'm like, hey, don't this sound like that time period? And we just started writing, and that became the very first song. And the album, which is now out on all digital platforms and is doing well. But we went back and I realized like he and I've collaborated several times, but we've never done a music video together. So I was like, yo, we're gonna do this video together. I'm like, you know, because he a closet singer. He sing, but he don't want nobody to know he sing. I'm like, nah, they gonna know this time. You get out and you on video this time. So the video got over 150,000 views in the first 4 days. So it's doing well. It's also scheduled to premiere on MTV, BET, and Revolt TV in the next coming week. So look out for that. But the song is just, honestly, it was from a real place. We was just like trying to make something. Like we was just feeling shitty, to be honest with you. Like it was so much going on. Like I was like, man, I got to make some music. And we just made that record. And it's produced by Dope Boy, who I don't know personally, but he got some heat. And you know, it's just a fun record to me. It's short. It's probably one of the shortest records I ever made.
It's short.
Which is a whole nother story because I'm such a rapidy rapper that all my songs used to be like 5.5 minutes long. Like, now you finna get all of these bars. Like, no, you getting all 3.5 verses, all of these bars. So for me to be like, yeah, let's, you know, it's part of my progression, I would say. That's like to make a record like that, where it didn't have to be proving something, you know what I'm saying? Like proving I could rap and just have fun with it. So the song's out now, video's out now, and so is the merch, Sycosismusic.com. That's SYCOSIS music.com. You can get the merch to help support. And then we also gonna perform it live here in Chicago area, which hopefully you can be a part of that, Most Precious. We would love to have you.
It's on a Sunday too, I think.
It is a Sunday.
It's the 28th, right?
28th of February.
Yep. And
it starts at 6:30.
Perfect. We gonna talk outside the interview, but yeah, we already know. Let's talk about that and lock that in.
But for everybody watching and listening, February 28th at the Forge in Joliet, come catch me live.
Live streamed, Zoom,
live and stream. I'm gonna do both.
Perfect.
So you can actually get inside the building, but I'm gonna stream the live on Facebook as well. So that'll be dope. So yeah, if you look at support, please check out my site, Sycosismusic.com. Get behind the music, help us get it out there. Find me when you wake up. It's kind of like a double entendre. I'll explain that real quick. I'm also really into movies, and sci-fi movies are my favorite. And a lot of sci-fi / horror movies have dream sequences, right? You figure out, somebody realizes they're in a dream. But a lot of the good movies, some of my favorite movies are on this concept of like what's real, like The Matrix, for example. Inception, for example, they kind of make you question like what's real, right?
Final Destination.
Final Destination, Nightmare on Elm Street, and all of these movies. A lot of times, there's one character who realizes that it's not, you know, there's something going on. You go to sleep, it's not really sleep. Well, you're awake and everybody else is asleep. You're aware and everybody else is not unaware. Mm-hmm. And you'll hear somebody say that line, "Find me when you wake up," because they realize that the person they're talking to is asleep, and they don't know they're asleep. They don't know that what they're experiencing is not real, but the person saying it has figured it out, and they've gotten inside their dreams or they're hearing some way to give them the message. And that's what I felt like was happening when I was making this music. Like, there's a lot of people who may not be aware of me, may not know that this music is out here. Find me when you wake up. You know what I'm saying? Because we here. You know?
Oh Lord, that was dope. Say your Instagram. You didn't say that. You said your site, which is
everything's at Sycosis or Sycosis Music. YouTube, everything's at Sycosis. SYCOSIS. I'm also on Clubhouse, Sycosis Music, Snapchat.
Everything.
Days. I might be the only one that's different.
TikTok.
I am on TikTok. It's like 2 videos of my dog, one of my son, maybe. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do better. My music is on TikTok though. So if you're watching this and you're on TikTok, you can definitely pull my music from the library. on TikTok as well as Instagram and Facebook stories, and add it to your story. Tag me, I'll repost you.
So thank you so much, Sycosis. I'm sorry you're gonna be late for what you gotta do. I know you're gonna be late.
Right on time.
But oh, okay, that's cool. And I feel like we can talk hours and hours. We're gonna have to reconnect on some encore type stuff and just really dig down into that mindset of yours. Because you're phenomenal. So because you're that, a lot of people need to see that. And you can't judge a book by its cover. Like you're a story that a lot of people need to read. And your life is a story. Let me make a little more sense. Your life is a story that people need to open up and read and embrace and learn. There's a lot of questions I want to ask you about sync licensing, artists, and helping, like all that. So, but we don't have the time for that. Good for you right now. It's good for you. It's out right now on all digital platforms. Sycosismusic.com. Go there first. Check it out. Support that. The Hotzone got it here first. You know what it is, man. Pop. No, it's soda. It's soda. It's soda. Forever.
Since we on your show, I'm gonna let you have that today. Today only. But do me a favor, say caramel.
Caramel.
Say caramel.
I got it. Yep, I can say caramel. I just can't say I used to not be able to say museum. I could never say museum with nothing. And on top of that, I barely can say fume, like the movie. I still can't say that word. Like that word is complicated for me. But
St. Louis is the funniest city in America.
we gonna talk more about it.
I love it.
We're gonna have a whole like fun chat outside of that. We're gonna talk. But thank you so much for fitting me in today, man. Congratulations on all your success, being a realtor, to being a hip hop / multifaceted type of talent. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. And the Hotzone welcomes you anytime.
Let me say one more thing to people listening. I know we get a chance to talk about that, but there's a book by Daniel, I believe it's Daniel Passman. It's called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business. Passman is his last name. I can't remember his first name. It might be George, but I think it's Daniel. I apologize if I'm not. I just got it myself. He's made a bunch of editions. The 10th edition will break down a lot of stuff in music business. If you really want to learn, really want to get yourself out there and get established, look up the Passman book, Everything You Need to Know.
I got that book, and I was trying to pull it out the show, but it ain't on my freaking bookshelf.
I got it in the room, but I'm just want to plug it real quick. Check it out. Check that out. If you're in this industry, you need to learn that. So salute to you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. And let's connect soon.
No, I'm just stop playing. This video shit is so phenomenal for me. But thank you so much, Sycosis. Be safe. We got a lot of work to do. And thank you so much for making the time for me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, love.
All right. Take care. Be safe.
Later.
That's why. You know, it's like I've been trying to think of ways to get through to you. So far, nothing's working, but let's try this. Look, I'm pushing and you pulling back. I'm trying to understand why it's in your phone, but you calling me your man. See you loving all the likes, maybe they only fans. I ain't trying to make a scene, I'm trying to make a plan, but you killing it. All the attitude, I ain't feeling it. In the bedroom, I lay you down and get the drilling it. Love so son, we could be closer, but I ain't trying to chase you, so she coming over, talk to me. Talk to me.